Hey guys, I hope you guys had fun doing the car last week and I hope that they turned out. I'd love to see any of your guys' creations. If you want to put those on Facebook or send me an email with pictures, I would love that. It's so fun to see you guys. Okay, so you should have a ball about the size of a baseball from last week left over in your bag. You're going to take that and you're going to break it in half. And you're going to put one half back in your Ziploc bag for next week. And you're going to keep the other half out. So today you're going to need your half ball of clay. You are going to need a tool to smooth. You can use something like this. You can use the end of a spoon or a popsicle stick, anything like that. Something pointy, like a toothpick or a needle, anything along those lines. And then something that is just a little, I don't know if you can see that, just a little thing to poke in. So it's round, something like the end of a push pen, like a ballpoint pen that you push, is about the perfect size. You can even go as big as a pencil eraser if you need to, if you don't have anything. And then a wet paper towel, just in case you need some more moisture for your clay. All right, are you guys ready? Oh, also, this would be done in 2 weeks if we were in school. So if you are starting to get tired of doing it, or if you need a break, or if it's getting long, then go ahead and stop it and just pick up where you left off when you're ready to start again. If I'm going too fast and you need to, please pause it and get caught up, and then you can start it again and we'll keep working. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna do, once you've got your clay, is you are going to split it into 2 different pieces. Okay, so like that. Now we're gonna go along the same lines as we did last week. So I'm gonna set this one to the side and we are going to think of shape. I'm gonna put that up just a tiny. Okay, so we're gonna think of shape. So I want you to roll this into a ball to start. So you wanna smooth it out. If it's kind of cracking, you can wet your fingers, smooth it out. Just keep rolling it and forming it into a ball. And once we've got it into a ball, we are going to take it and kind of make an ice cream cone shape with the cone being very long. So to do that, you're going to, instead of rolling like that, you're going to place your hands close together at the bottom and roll it between them with your hands touching down there at the bottom. If you see how that's pulling that out and making it a cone shape. So you're gonna do that. Let me see. That's better. So we've got that going here. All right, so I've got my cone shape. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of put my hand right here, kind of where it goes into that cone shape, and I'm going to take that ball part and I'm just going to push it up just a little bit. Okay. You don't want to push too hard right here. You just want to use it so that you can have something to push against. So you can see here, I've got a nice little, kind of like a fat little golf club shape here. So my next thing that I'm gonna need to do, I'm gonna need to get that other ball that I saved, not the ball for next week, the ball that I took half of. And I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna break it into a piece that's about 2/3, Yeah, about 2/3 on one side. No, a little more than 1/3. So maybe, yeah, like about like that. So they're not going to be the same size. I'm going to take the smaller one and I'm going to roll it into a ball. Then I'm going to take another chunk off here. And again, it's going to be smaller than this one. And that should be about the size of your ball there. So I'm going to take this and I am going to make out of this 8 different balls in different sizes. So I'm going to take just a tiny pinch off each of these and see this is even too big. So I'm going to break those in half. And if you remember last week, we learned that the brain, the more you do this, the more your brain adapts to be able to sense size. So you'll be able to tell just by rolling those in your fingers if it is too big or too small, or if it's about the same. So I've got this here, and I've got my 2 first balls right there. Now I'm going to go a little bit bigger. And so this one, I'm going to take it, and that's a kind of my next size up, but I've got these about the same size. So I'm going to roll them. I'm going to make those balls. And I'm going to take this again and break some off. And that is going to be too big on that side. So I'm going to roll these. And they're a little bit too big. So I'm going to break a little bit off of each of those. Roll them into balls. And set those down. So I've got 3 different sizes so far of my balls. I need 1 more. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to break it into the balls and roll it. And roll those into balls and set those here. So I've got my 4 different sizes, and there's 2 balls of each size. So I'm going to just kind of roll those over here to the side. Set them out over here for when I need them in a few minutes. Then I'm going to take the rest of this clay. I've got these 2 over here. I'm going to take the rest of this, and I'm going to split this up into about 1/3 and 2/3. This 1/3, I'm going to take it and split it in half. And I'm going to make a cylinder. Do you know what a cylinder is? Kind of the shape of a Tootsie Roll. So I'm going to do that right here. We've got 1. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to change it into the shape that we need it in just a minute. So here's the second one. And then with this other one, we're going to do the same thing, but these ones are going to be a little bit bigger. So here's this. And I'm going to do the same thing here, making it a cylinder shape, kind of a Tootsie Roll. And I actually forgot 1 piece. So I want you just to get a tiny piece about the size of a little bit smaller than a marble, and roll it into a ball from your piece for next week. We're gonna need that also. You can set that to the side. Okay, so here's all the pieces that we're gonna work with. Now, a new thing that we're gonna do this week is gonna be, we're gonna use, normally if we were in a real studio, we would use slip, which is a slurry of water and clay. We don't have slip, so we're gonna use water, but it will work essentially the same way. What we're gonna do, we don't want this piece to fall apart. So we're gonna take this and we're going to score or cut these lines into where we're gonna attach things. So we're gonna do this with each little piece. So use your toothpick or whatever pokey you have, and you're gonna put those in, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this right here. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna pull it out a little bit. So I'm gonna turn this into more of a oval shape. You can see here, I'm kind of just shaping it into an oval and then pressing it down a little bit. So you see that shape? So now that I've done that and I've got my clay scored, I'm gonna take my wet paper towel and I'm gonna just wet it. And I'm gonna take this now and I'm gonna put it on here. And then I'm gonna use whatever I pick to be my smoother, and I'm going to smooth it into the ice cream cone piece. So if it's easier, you can use your fingers, and it's probably gonna help you if you get your finger just a little bit wet on that paper towel to smooth it in. Even if you use a tool, you're gonna wanna go back with your fingers and just make sure it's all nice and attached good and not gonna be any troubles. We don't want our head to break off from our body. So we're gonna make sure it's attached really nice. And you can use whatever tools are available. You guys might even be better just using your fingers, because your fingers are a lot smaller than mine. And so that might be the easier thing to do. So we're gonna go around and make sure that's blended all the way. And then once I've done that, I'm gonna come back with my paper towel and I'm just gonna go around with my finger and smooth out any rough spots that I see. Any cracks or any bumps that I don't want. I'm gonna smooth those out. Make it nice and look like it's just one piece. Now right here, it's hard for me to get my finger right in there. So I'm gonna just kind of take this and then kind of smooth it with this piece right here. It's just a round piece, so you can use just like the side of a pencil if that's easier. You can use a toy. You might have a toy that would work great. And the clay will just rinse right off. So whatever is easier for you. Oh man, I forgot the wings. You're gonna actually need another piece of your clay from last week or for next week. So this is getting smaller. It's okay, we'll just do it smaller next week. That will be all right. Okay, So you're going to take this one now and you're going to put those to the side as well. Okay, so now I've got this. Now I'm going to start right here, and I am going to create a spine. So you can see that kind of cracked. So I'm going to take, and normally if I had slip, I would stick some slip in there and that would help it to stay a little more secure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just blend this down a little bit more to connect those right there. And then I'm going to create a spine. So to do that, I'm going to kind of just take my fingers and pinch the mark all the way down the back, all the way down the tail. And you can see from the side, I don't know if you can tell, but that is pinched a little bit. Now it kind of doesn't look how I want it right here. So you're gonna take it, if you've got a spot that's like that, you're gonna take it and smooth it out and then pinch that back up. You see how that took care of those, the little creases in the clay and all the little bends. So now this looks like my spine going down the back of what is going to be our dragon. All right, see how that works? Okay, so now my next step is going to be my legs. And my back legs are going to be these little Tootsie Rolls. Okay, so these little ones, we're not going to show all of the haunch because, which is that big part that would show like the big muscle right here, because our wings are going to cover it. So we're going to only show just the toes mostly sticking out. So we're going to take a flat spot, make a flat spot right here. And then we're going to use our toothpick and kind of cut in those little toes right there. And then if you want to, you can even cut this middle one so it's more at a triangle. So they're kind of like claws. And if you want to, you can wet these a little bit with your paper towel. And you can take them and just smooth those out and make them a little bit pointy. See how I did that? And I just made those nice and uniform on both sides. Now, it would be skinnier right here because it would be like the ankle. So we're gonna just pinch it in a little bit right here and then bring it back a little. So pinch it. You can even squish this down if it starts to come up. You can see that made a wrinkle right here. I'm gonna take some water and I'm just gonna smooth that out. Okay, and then this back, we've got to attach it. So I'm gonna pinch it like that and then flatten it like that. And we're going to attach it just like this. So we're going to use that same method of slip of the score. And if we had slip, we would do slip, but we're going to just use our water. So we're going to score both of those and we're going to get some water on it. We're going to put it on. And then I'm going to smooth those together using either my finger or whatever tool I have. And I actually, since it's just straight, I prefer my fingers to using a tool. I just feel like there's more control in doing so. And so unless it's a small piece that I can't do with my fingers, I like to just use my fingers. Okay, so that's one. Now these fat ones are going to be our front legs. Okay, so we're going to do the same kind of thing, except these ones, we're going to kind of make them like more like a bend, like kind of like an elbow. So we're going to take it and do the same little toe marks. And I'm going to just make my triangle right from the beginning. We can put that there. So there's my front claws. And I'm going to just shape those into the shape that I like here. And I'm going to put these, make my little wrist. And I kind of have this little bubble right here that I could either leave because it is a dragon and dragons have lots of wrinkles, or I can smooth out. And I kind of liked that little fold. So I'm going to kind of make another one and kind of fold them in like that. I think it gives it a fun little detail. All right, so now I've got that, and I've got my little wrist. So I'm going to do it like this, kind of like he's up kneeling or like leaning on his paw, claw, whatever you want to say. So this is going to go down a little bit and back in here like this. And I'm going to do that same method of scoring and water. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to smooth that nicely. If I need some water to help it smooth, I can add that and get my finger wet. Now that's nice and smooth. Right here, you can see I want to just make sure it's attached right here too. So I just blended that a little bit. Okay, so I've got that side done. And now I'm going to do this other side the same way. So once again, you're going to flatten one side. You're going to take your toothpick and kind of make your claw marks like that. And then pinch those in at the wrist here. If you need to flatten it out a little bit, it's okay. Go ahead and do that. And I really kind of did like how that little mark came up in my last one. I'm going to add that to this one too. It kind of just makes it a little more like webbing, kind of, I guess. Show the bone a little more. I don't know. I just like how it looks. So we're going to do that and get those how we want them. And this one I want a little bit pointier. So I'm going to just do it like that. And then we're going to take this back part and we're going to flatten it. And I want it to be the same. So I've got this. I want it to be the same as my other one, because They're both going to connect at the same places. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to score again. I'm going to score this and get some water on there. And then I'm going to blend that in and smooth it out. So just work at it until it feels like it's attached and secure. So, because once this dries, if it's not, it'll just break apart and you don't want that. So I just have back here, I'm just gonna smooth that in, blend it together, just like so. And there are my two back ones. Now I need to make my other front one, and I feel like I bent that a little bit. So I'm gonna just make it a little bit pointier. And it's okay if yours are bigger or smaller, it's okay. Everybody's is gonna be a little bit different. And that's how it should be. Okay, so now this one is gonna be the same way. I'm gonna smash that piece here, and I'm gonna make it into a little bit of a wrist, and kind of put it up a little bit. Make my toe, my first claw, my second claw, and then I just love how that kind of made it look like a bonier foot. So I'm gonna put those in, and that toe's cracking, so I'm gonna smooth it out. And we're gonna make our wrist. And I wanna make sure I'm kind of about the same. So I'm gonna take this, and it's not quite as long, so I'm gonna make it a little bit longer. Let's see, is that looking about right? Yeah. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna score. And score on this. And wet it. And then I'm gonna put it on here. And smooth it out. Smooth it out so that it is on here nice and good, nice and tight. And you can even shape it if you want to shape it more like a shoulder. You can do that. So it shows a little more detail here. You can add some wrinkles if you want, whatever you want. Okay, so now we're going to do the fun part. So I'm actually just kind of turning the head a little bit because that's how I wanted it. And you want to make sure your spine is still there. If you need to fix that, go ahead and fix that. And so now we're going to add details. And right here, this leg wants to kind of dangle when I pick it up. So I'm going to just attach it a little bit better right here so that that is not going to be a worry for me when it dries. I don't want it to fall off. Okay, so I've got my spine nice and defined. All right, so now we're going to start adding some features. So what is the first thing with a dragon? We've got to have a nice big nostril. So see that cracked right there? While this tool is in here, because I want to keep the shape, I'm going to take this and I'm going to smooth that out right there. And I want to kind of push up just a little bit. That one got a little bit bigger than what I would like, but I want it to be kind of up and then down, and then this next one, we want it to be up, because that's kind of how they are. They kind of have big nostrils when I think of a dragon. So you can see here, I'm gonna hold it upside down. I hope that shows it good. You can see here how that nose looks. And if you've got cracks, it's okay. You can smooth them out. You don't want to push too hard or you'll make your face collapse. Okay, we're gonna do our mouth. So you're gonna just take a tool, your toothpick, a kitchen knife, whatever you have, and you're going to drag it through the clay, just like that. And you can see it kind of has some loose clay. That's okay. You can wipe that off, and then you can either use your finger or a tool and kind of just round that line up and down a little bit, so it looks like a nice mouth instead of a jaggedy looking cut. See the difference between that and that? So go ahead and work on doing that. Get your mouth the way you like it. You could even, if you wanted to slice it, you could even make it like his mouth was open. Maybe add a tongue if you want. So see, I've got that. And I'm gonna just take a little bit of water, put in there, and come back through with that in the front. And then do it down here a little bit. All right, so I'm pretty happy with how that looks. See, there's my nose and my mouth. So now, see, it's not flat, it kind of goes down like that. I'm gonna make my eye holes. So to do that, I'm going to kind of right where my nostril is, and to the side, I'm gonna poke in my toothpick or whatever tool, and I'm gonna make it round like this. See that? I'm gonna do the same thing to this other side. Just where my nostril is, and I'm gonna make it, and I want it to be about the same size and in the same spot, just on the other side of the face. So you see my little face now? Okay, now for these eyes, we're gonna take our littlest, tiniest ball over here. We're gonna get it wet, and we're gonna set it inside there. Whoop! Set it inside. And this one, you can't really score it because it's so small, but we're gonna put an eyelid on top, and we're gonna hope that that will hold it in. So do you see how I just popped those little eyes in there? Now you're gonna take your next biggest size, so your next smallest, sorry, your next smallest, one size bigger than your eyeball, and you're going to smash it like we did the tires last week. But this one, we're gonna make them oblong. So then I'm gonna squish it in. Oops, what did I do? There we go. I'm gonna take it like that. And my clay's getting kind of dry, so it's starting to crack. So I'm gonna just put some water on my finger and wet it. And then I'm gonna take this and take it right over the top of my eyeball. I don't want it to be closed. See, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna smooth this out. You're gonna smooth it out from the back though. You don't want to push that down flat with his face. You want that eyelid to kind of pop out of the face and give it some good definition. So I tried to do this once before with it facing the computer and I ended up with a closed eye. So I'm gonna put this on and then I'll flip it around and show you. Okay, let's see. I've got this one little piece right here that is looking a little bit funny. Okay, you see that? See how that looks from the side, how it kind of pokes out? That is what we want. Okay, guys, sorry about that. We're gonna do our other eyelid. So we're gonna smash it. And once again, use some water. And form it into our oval shape. And I want to make sure that it sticks good. So I'm going to take it, put it over the top here. And I'm going to smooth this out right here. So we got our eyelid on. Let me see. This one is just, this eyeball went in a little bit more. So I'm going to kind of pop it out a little bit so it's not quite in so much. You see that? And then this right here, see right there? I just have a little bump that I just want to push out a little. Okay, so here's my face. Then if I decide I want to, or if you decide you want to, you can take and make some little wrinkles right here on your nose part. You don't have to, but kind of fun. A dragon has some wrinkles. So if you want to, maybe even around the nostril. Maybe right through here a little. You can add some of that detail. Kind of just whatever you want. There's not really any right or wrong. And you can do that over the whole dragon if you want. Whatever you would like. You can do some scales, maybe like kind of just go like this. If you wanted to do some scales, find something and do that. And then come back over the top and do another layer. See, like that? And that's kind of just up to you if you want to put some texture and stuff on it. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the next size up. And these are gonna be the ears. So I'm gonna just get that wet because it's starting to dry out. I'm gonna flatten them like this. And then take one side to a point. Okay, so we're gonna point that. And that's just tearing, so I'm gonna get it a little bit more wet and smooth it. Check this side. Okay, so it's at my point. And these, if you want to, you can kind of go like this around something and kind of fold it a little bit so it kind of makes a little, I don't know, creased ear. And then pinch it at the bottom. And then you're going to take it as gently as you can and kind of unfold it. So it's like that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to score it. It's super tiny, but that's important to do, the scoring. So I'm going to take it and put it on. And then I'm going to smooth it into the head here. Just like this. Okay, see how that looks there? And my net just is got a few cracks. You want to make sure if you're seeing any cracks, you're coming back in with the water on your finger and just smoothing those out. And I'm going to do the same thing with my other one. I'm going to just get it wet here and smash it. And then take it into a point. Make sure I don't have any wrinkles or creases that cracks in it. Fold it up there. And pinch that down at the bottom and open it back up a little bit. See, just like that. Kind of looks like a pasta shell almost. Okay, then we're going to score. And score it on here and wet it. Stick it on. And then we're going to blend it in to the side of the head, just like so. And this one, you want to make sure it's on there nice and good because there's not a whole lot to blend. So you might even just come in and blend with your toothpick. Okay, so now one ear is a little bigger than the other. So I'm going to just kind of smush that down a little bit and see if that helps it. So it's not quite as noticeable that one ear is bigger. And I've got a little crack right here, so I'm going to come back with the water and just smooth that out. Okay, so almost done. We're going to take this next size and wet it. We are going to roll it between our fingers into a cone shape, making a very long pointed cone here. And I actually am going to just take this ball part off and add it to that wing because I don't think we need it that big. Okay, so we've got our shape here. If you guessed that this was going to be a horn, you are right. So we're going to take this and score right here and wet it Then we're going to put this on this side here and smooth that out. And I actually like this one. If I can use this one, I won't be able to use this one underneath because it just is too fat of a end, but this one will work great. This is where your toothpick, even the side of your toothpick, would be good to use to blend this on. And then once I've got this on here, and probably after my other one is on as well, I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. You can bend it if you would like. Make your horns however you think they look best. So I'm going to make this horn the same way by just rolling it between my fingers. I'm going to take this end off. Now see it's cracking? That's because this clay is getting dry. So we're going to just wet it with our paper towel and just maybe wet your finger and run it along there. Smooth it out because you don't want it to break off. So, and if you need to, roll it back into a ball, blend it up really good, and wet your fingers and start over if it starts to crack too much. That will help it to, that will keep it from cracking it to the point that it breaks. So we're going to just roll this tip now out to a point, and we are going to score it and score this. And then put that on here and smooth this out, blend it in nice. And underneath this side of it. Okay, so I've got those on now, and I can adjust them how I see fit, add some detail to them in a little bit. This one's kind of drooping, so I might even either stick some wire down in it, or maybe even just make each of these a little bit shorter. We'll see what I decide to do. Okay, so we're almost done. We have just our tail left and our wings. That's what they are. So for the tail, you want it to have that nice spine all the way down, that kind of pointier shape. Then once we get down to the bottom, we're going to take this, we're going to squeeze it, pinch it into a triangle. You can even go like this and like that if it helps you. There was a little crack there. See my cracks? I'm going to just take some water on my fingers, smooth that out, make it look good. Do the same to the other side. Make them nice and straight. Make my triangle point here. Then I'm going to take it. I'm going to score this. I'm going to score this on my water and put these two together. Then I'm going to take my smaller one and blend these two pieces together. And if you need to change the shape of that or make your tail a little bit longer, you can. Whatever you think your dragon needs. All right. So we got that. And then the last thing are the wings. And so for these, I'm going to get these wet because they're again starting to get dry from being out in the air. I'm going to take it and I'm going to work it into the shape almost like a triangle that is a little bit more to one side. So I'll do that one, and then it's not going to be a perfect triangle, but that's all right. We don't want it to be. So we can even take this and we can pinch it up here. I'm going to take this. See all those cracks? I'm going to just smooth them out. Wet my finger, smooth them out. Right here, do the same thing. Okay. And I kind of feel like they have like a bat wing look to them. The dragons do. So I'm going to take these and just tear out some chunks here. And then I'm going to make those a little bit pointy. I'm going to make this one a little bit, oh, I don't want it to break right there. So I'm going to smooth those together. Make that a little bit pointy and maybe come up right here to a point. I don't know. However you want your wing shaped. I don't think I want that point there. I'm going to take that one off and just work on this one, making that one a little bit of a pointier piece. And maybe you want a bite taken out of your wing. I don't know. So the wings, if it was flying, would be like this, right?